Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, who landed down the Muslimin, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah al-Kareem, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa la sharika lah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Did you think this was going to be in English? Assalamu alaikum. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. My name is Yusuf. Can you say Yusuf? Yusuf. He said it perfectly. I don't know why they said they got it perfect. My wife, she still pronounces it useless. But I think it's a speech impediment. Anyhow, it's nice to be here with all of you. And before we get started, I'd like to do a real quick inventory on what we got here in the warehouse. So if anybody's a Muslim, raise your hand. Okay. If anybody's not a Muslim yet, raise your hand. Wait a minute, you raised your hand twice. So that sounds like indecision.
No, it sounds like I pray the prayers every day.
Yeah.
I read the Quran.
Yeah.
And that's what I am. So my way of thinking is I really do something to God.
So, but you're kind of like in and out at the same time.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that. It's that we have to discuss it in private, but for me to say for sure I'm old to a prophet, then I have to say I'm old on my God, and I'm not there yet. I don't really know.
You're working on it.
So I'm reading on it, I think the prayer. And for me that's tradition, fasting, charity, prayer.
Sounds good. So you were raised as Christian? Catholic or Protestant?
Well, Catholic, and I also spent about 30 years in Protestant.
You got a good mixture going on. Sound like a religious cocktail almost. All right. But that's good that we have some folks here who are open-minded, would like to come out and visit with us, with Muslims tonight for our event. And I'm going to be using some Arabic words, but if you don't mind, I'd like to just tell you ahead of time what it is going to be so you get the idea. We say Alhamdulillah all the time. We say it so much, it becomes second nature, right? Alhamdulillah. Right? And what it means, hamd is praise or thanksgiving. Now this is the month of Thanksgiving. Here in America, everybody talks about Thanksgiving. We have a special day in America to give thanks to the Lord. It's a very special day. It's so special, you know, that we even make it as a holiday to give thanks to the Lord. But if a Muslim had to do that, we wouldn't have any days to work. Because every single day to us is a day to be so thankful that we constantly are saying, Nashkur Allah, Alhamdulillah, thank you Allah, praise be to Allah, and we can't stop saying it in everything. Even when something bad, you know, it's like, oh man, you got real sick, Alhamdulillah. And then why is it that? Because, it, you know, it means that we're still thankful Allah no matter what happens to us. So that's one of the words I've been using is Alhamdulillah. And by the way, our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, his name is derived from the same thing, Hamd, and Allah is Hamid. What is Hamid? The one that's worthy of all the praise. Hamid. Muhammad, the one who is praising. The praising one. Because he, Prophet said, Alhamdulillah, more than any of us, or all of us put together. And when we get through with our prayers, and you see us pray 5 times a day, one of the things we say 33 times is Alhamdulillah. So that's one thing. Another thing you hear us say a lot is salam. You hear us when we're greeting each other, salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam, 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 right? But I didn't really hear you guys. Let me give you a chance. Salam alaikum. Yeah, now we heard extra though, didn't we? Yeah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And rahmah, and Allah is Ar-Rahman, and that's Allah's mercy. say graciousness, mercy, benevolence is, yeah, is right. There's some cool things about words in Arabic, and that's why I like to kind of introduce the subject on the words, because it really helps me to understand better. Another thing we say a lot of is Allahu Akbar. When I was in Turkey the first time, many years ago, they were still under the old regime, that if you said Allahu Akbar, you could be arrested. Because, yeah, they considered it, you were calling to some kind of military action or something. If you said, Allahu Akbar, okay, grab this guy and put him in jail. And I made that mistake. As a matter of fact, I was so excited. Can I tell you the story? And then I'll come to our main topic. Okay. When I was in Turkey, right, I wanted to go to the Blue Mosque. Anybody been to Turkey? Is it an amazing place? Yes. You went to Istanbul, and you went in and saw the Blue Mosque. Well, if you go in that side door, back here, there's an ancient area where they used to make wudu, a very big outside thing in Canaan. Well, right in that same area in 1924 is where they hung all of the scholars. It was 1922. When Kemal Ataturk took over, they took all the scholars out and they hung them right there. That's where they all died. I went in that door, let's show you why I said that. I went in that same door, and it was about time for Maghrib, just like right about now. And when it was that time to pray, to go in there was a guy in there named Philip from America, and he was looking around. Tourists go in there, right? That's one of the big tourist attractions. He was looking around, and he was asking in English, what are these guys doing? Are they going to pray? The guard that was in there didn't understand what he was saying. He said, get out. You'll go over there. You'll go over there. And the guard saw me. He said, you'll go over there. You can go pray with those guys. And I wanted to talk to this guy and say, hey, I want to tell him about Islam. He's asking, right? So the guard goes, you there. I said, all right, whatever. So, but while I was praying, I was asking Allah, let me have a chance to see this guy again, you know. So when we got done, I go out the door, same door, and I went out, and there he was sitting there. And he said, oh, thank God. You know, alhamdulillah, right? He said, oh, thank God, my prayers were answered. I was hoping you'd come out, and I could ask you a question. And I was thinking, hey, I was praying to the same God asking him to hold him here so I could get out there. We talked for about a half an hour, and he said, this is what I dreamed of all my life. This is what I believe. And he made a shahada standing right there and entered Islam. Now wait a minute, here's where it gets cool. When somebody makes their shahada, what do we always say? Huh? How loud do we say it? You're really loud, right? So he made shahada, he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah, and I'm like, Allahu Akbar! My friend with me, he's got a recorder on, he's recording this on camera. And he's saying, like this. And I'm like, what's the matter with this guy? And there was an old lady, she was watching all of this from the beginning. She's looking. She figured it out finally. She didn't speak English. But she figured it out when I started saying Allahu Akbar. This guy just said Shahada, oh my God. So she was running around in a circle. And here's me saying, and so here comes the police. And the big guy comes up to me, he's got his uniform on, and he grabs me, right? And he said, Allahu Akbar. He worked there as security for the masjid. We still got that video, by the way.
That's the question. So you're saying that the government of Turkey was imposing secularism on people?
I think
Was the government of Turkey then imposing secularism?
no. The government of Turkey, under the people that were running it at that time, were really more secular than anything else. They just didn't want anybody coming along and trying to upset the apple cart. And it's known that some groups there, when they shout Allahu Akbar, means they were going to like attack or something like that. And so they saw that as some kind of affront against the government. But obviously, this guy worked at security, so there was no real problem. He gave us a thrill for a minute. Alhamdulillah. I want to take a word, if you don't mind, I'd like to take a word and kind of break it down and we can kind of go from there after that. The word is the only word that I found in so many translations of Quran that they don't translate this word. Now, there's a lot of words that you could take exception to the way they come up with stuff. For instance, the word iqra. They usually say it means read. Well, the reality of it is it's coming from qara'a, which is the root, and that's the word for qari, which is a reciter, or the Quran, which is a recitation. Therefore, it probably should be better said, recite in the name of your Lord, etc. But still, they would translate that. Another word, deen, they call religion. Verily, the only religion with God is Islam. Have you seen that one? But deen means the way of life. Everybody has a way of life. Even an atheist has a way of life. So, but again, they translate it. The word Allah doesn't mean God. Ilah means God in Arabic, is that right?
Yep.
So Allah means the name, the formal, proper name of Almighty Allah. That's His name. So our Ilah is Allah. True or false? Our Ilah is Allah. You wouldn't say our Allah is Ilah. That's different. So again, though they translate it, they say God. And okay, I'm not taking exception to it, but I'm just sharing with you there's a word they don't translate. Who knows what word it is? Anybody? What word they don't translate? As of course they translate that. Doesn't matter if they translate it. I'm just saying they don't even attempt to translate it. I just told you they translate it as God. What else?
Islam?
Huh?
Islam?
Who said that? How do you know?
My answer is kind of cheating. Because it was,
He said it first.
I'm sorry?
How did you know?
Because I watched one of the previous videos. So
Oh man, the chance around here tonight. Yeah. I should have known about this place, you know? Should have known by the name of this place. It was called Sun originally, wasn't it? Huh? Wasn't this originally called Sun? You know what's worse than stealing my story? Stealing my jokes. And if you don't laugh, they get worse. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So, but anyway, he's right. The word is Islam. And if you doubt it, just go check it out in any of the translations. And I'll just give you some places to look. Chapter 3, verse 19. In Adina, in the Lahil Islam. It says Islam. Either way. Verily the religion with God is, still says Islam. And then verse 85. Translation says, it says, whoever wants a religion other than Islam, Allah will never accept it, and the hereafter, they'll be with the losers. And keep on going through chapter 5, verse 3. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. And when you translate it, on this day have I perfected for you your religion or way of life, and conferred upon you my biggest favor and chose for you as your religion Islam. Again, it says it like that. You keep seeing Islam again and again and again. We'll just jump back further in the Quran and you'll find it all the way back to the very end. It's the same thing. All the way back. Alright, so setting that aside and coming back to the word Islam, why don't they translate it? And there are several hundred attempts of translating Quran to English, Spanish, Norwegian, Swedish. The one who translated the Swedish was a friend of mine before he passed away. May Allah have mercy on him. He used to be the ambassador for Sweden to Morocco. Muhammad couldn't. Our brothers from Norway, by the way. Anyway, they still say Islam. Why? Because the word Islam is way too big to translate with a single word. You can't. You can try, but you can't do it. Everybody playing the harpsichord? Anyhow, so the word Islam, so that's going to be the subject where I want to introduce here. The word Islam comes from a root in the Arabic, sin, lam, mim, and it's pronounced silm. And from it come many words. And it's amazing the words that come from this, not the least of which is salam, which means peace. Salam is peace. Ma salama, salama, another way to pronounce it, it changes it and becomes security. Salama, security. Salam, peace. But when you say Islam, it represents another word, aslama. Aslama, this is the verb or action that represents what you're really talking about. And when you discover this, you discover the real Islam. First of all, I'll tell you that I found 5 clear meanings. There are some others kind of overlapping in between. I want to stay with these 5 to help all of our visitors catch the meaning here. First and foremost is the word surrender. Now for Christians, they know about surrender. In fact, they got a song called Sweet Surrender. And they sing it in church a lot, right? Yeah. And that surrender is only to Him. To surrender your soul to the one who created. Do we have that in Islam? Absolutely. And then, another word after surrender is submission. To submit to the commandments of Almighty God. In other words, to make an agreement that you're going to do that. Then third, that you will obey. Obedience to the one God is also in that word. And check this one out. This one really, I don't know why we didn't think about this a long time ago, but this 4th word is sincerity. If you don't do this in sincerity, Allah will not accept it. If you're doing your prayer, so people will see you pray, even a little bit, you know, I hope somebody saw me pray today, okay? All your prayers just got washed away just like that. Forget about it. Because you didn't look for them to show off. If you have a habit of telling everybody, oh, by the way, I'm fasting, don't invite me to go eat today. Actually, we weren't. We're also fasting. It's called Ramadan. So if you're not sincere, is Allah going to accept it? Huh? I don't think so. I know it won't. Now here's the catch in that word right there. Here's the catch. If I have to be sincere to be a Muslim, can you force me to be a Muslim? If I have to be sincere, how could you force me? What does that do? What does this story do? Are you ready? How many of you heard the story, Islam was spread by the sword? How many of you ever heard that expression? Come on, be honest. Put your hand up. You heard it? How do you spread sincerity by force? Impossible. That'd be an oxymoron. You know, kind of like government intelligence. Oh, that's right, he's not in office anymore, is he? Read between the lines. I didn't say Texas, did I? Anyhow. I was in Dallas last week. Dude, did you vote for Bush? No, I think he wasn't running last time. Anyway. The come back to it though, the idea of people being forced in Islam to do anything means it's not Islam. We have some of our sisters, mashallah, wearing niqab, covering their faces, yeah? If anybody forced them to do it, that wouldn't be Islam. It has to be by their choice. Sister wearing hijab, it has to be by her choice. If she doesn't do it, she's in trouble with Allah, but you can't force her to do it. And let's just don't pick on sisters. Let's talk about brothers. Ready? Are you sure? Are you sure you can't wait? He's big. Who knows what I'm going to talk about now?
Beard?
Somebody asked Prophet Muhammad ﷺ about the lehya. You know, the hair that flows here. Lehya in Arabic. He told him, leave it alone. Yeah, literally that's what it said. It didn't say grow it. Can you grow your beard? Allah has to grow it, right? Brother asked me one time, he said, maybe I'll grow my beard. I said, I can't, that's sure. He said, what does that mean? I said, it means you want to have power beside Allah. Allah said nobody got power beside him. Yeah? So I can't ask you to grow your beard or ask God that this guy's going to do it, but I'll ask him to make you stop cutting it off. How about that? Because maybe he won't grow it. Hussein Yi, one of our friends from Malaysia, originally from China, he only has like 5 strands hanging down. Nothing he can do about it. Right? So, I'm doing it. You know how often we use that? I can't help it. It just comes out like that. Anyhow, so we're told you can cut above the lip up here. In fact, you're supposed to keep it from rolling over. And, you know, my grandfather used to call it a cookie duster. You get a doodle on and dust off the cookie for you. If your beard gets really big, it's a good place to save your snack for later. That's gross. But anyhow, let's come back to sincerity. Sincerity, why do you do what you do? Because if you're sincerely doing it for the Lord, He knows that, doesn't He? Now let's take it 4 words, and then we'll come to the 5th one. Somebody surrenders themselves totally to the Lord above. And then they submit themselves to His commandments. They obey those commandments to the best of their ability. And they do it all in sincerity to Him. That's where it has to be. And then, if they really were sincere, then this should be evident that they're going to be in peace with their Lord no matter what happens. Surrender, submit, obey, get it sincerely with the one above, and then you didn't get what you wanted. Oh. Some people, when they come into Islam, they think that they're going to get whatever they want. Like, I came to Islam, I was hoping I'd get a brand new car. Yeah, right. Huh. Or they thought I'm going to get good grades now, right? No. In fact, it can get worse for you. And in fact, you're probably pretty sure you're going to have a hard time. Can you imagine? If you're not Muslim right now, I want you to imagine something. Just go home tonight, right? Say, hey, Mom, guess what I did today? You bashed up the car? No. You got in trouble with the police? No. You got a ticket? No. I would tell my Muslim, oh no, we should have bashed up the car. Yeah. Because that they don't want to accept. But you know why? It's not because they understand what's Islam. It's because they have a wrong conception, a wrong impression in their mind of what Islam is really all about. If you really told somebody, like if you read it in English, suppose you told somebody, I want to believe in God. Well, that's great. I want to do what God wants me to do. Oh, that's fine. That's really good. I want to submit to God. All right. And be sincere. Whoa, yo, I want you to be sincere too. That's a good thing. And in peace. Yeah, boy. As a Muslim, get out of here. After I came into Islam, I learned this, you know, and the meaning of the word. I was so excited. I felt like really, it was an amazing thing. I used to attack Islam. Maybe I'll tell you that story someday. Would you like to know about that? No? Why not? Well, I tell you what. After I got into Islam, I learned these words, this meaning. And I went back to the same people I used to preach to down along the Texas-Mexico border. And in the old days, I used to play music and go down and preach and things like this. Well, all of a sudden, now I go back to the same place I was before. I've been gone a while. And this old lady, she's about like 80 years old, she come up to me and she looked at me and she said, "Child, what's the matter with you?" I like that when somebody called me child. I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, you're growing a beard and you're wearing a dress." Hey, I guess so. I said, "I became a Muslim." "You can't do that." "What?" "Oh, you can't do that." I said, "Why?" "You're not from over there." I said, "Excuse me? From where?" "Wherever they come from." Now, this is for real. This is for real. She's a sweetheart. I didn't want to hurt her feelings at all. And she's so nice. She's one of the kindest people you'd ever meet in your life. And I thought, you know what? I need to communicate her so she'll know what Islam really is. Let me try. I said, "Well, let me ask you something." I forget her name now. It was 22 years ago, but I asked her about her name. I said, "You believe in God?" She said, "You know I do." I said, "Don't you want to do God's will on earth as it is in heaven?" That's the Bible, you know, in the Lord's Prayer. She said, "You know I do." And I said, "And you want to surrender to God?" "Yes." "Submit to God?" "Already did." "Obey His commandments?" "You know that's right." "Yes." "And be sincere?" "There's no other way." I said, "Yes, you're right." "And be in peace with whatever He gives us." "Yes, yes, that's it." I said, "Well, that is the word Islam." "Oh." "Yes." "Oh, Islam." Islam. Islam. He's correcting me. Okay. Islam. And whoever does Islam, the verb, is a Muslim. I said, "Look, in Arabic, mu is a prefix that is the same as is in English. Walk, talk, think, stink, that wasn't never mind. Anyway, so in Arabic you put a prefix before it. Adhan, the call to the prayer. Mu'adhan, the one who calls the prayer. Salli, salah, do the prayer. And the musalliin, those who are doing the prayer. And so you put mu in front of it. That doesn't work on everything, but you get the idea. So a Muslim is one who surrenders, submits, obeys in sincerity, and is in peace with God. Oh! And you want to be like that? Huh? I said, "You're a Muslim." "No, I'm not!" I said, "Why not?" "I'm not from over there." I said, "You know what? I better shut up right here and leave her alone. Because at the end of the day, it's not me who's going to judge her, is it? Who's going to judge her? Alayhi salatu bi'afam. Who? Allah. He is the ultimate judge. So leave it. And the same is for our sister. It's not for me to judge you. It's not for me to say anything more than just pray for you and hope you find it what you're looking for and it makes it easy for you. And that's what all of us are supposed to do. But we have to be responsible to get the message out. I think we have something sticks on the car. I don't know where it went. Oh, they're behind you. Let me show you real quick what we got. Before you leave, you can't have them now. Sorry. But before you leave, you want to get one of these. You read it? Worship the Creator. not the creation. Goes on your car. You don't have a car, you put it on your skateboard. You don't have a skateboard, well, put it on your bicycle. You don't have a bicycle, backpack, you don't have a backpack, put it on the refrigerator. But put it somewhere where people can see it. It's a good reminder every day. Worship the Creator, not what He created. Simple as that. And it tells you about guidance to our latest project, which we are constantly trying to raise money to keep it on the air because it is all over the United States, Canada, on the smartphones, not on the dumb phones, on the iPhones, and also you can find it, besides the app, you can find it on the antennas in Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, Columbus, Ohio, and the internet. So a lot of places you can watch it. And that was my commercial. I just stick them right in where I want to. Now, I told you, I asked you if you want me to tell you a little bit about how I got to Islam. Anybody want to know? You want the long version or the short one? How many say short version? How many say long version? I think I have one up here that says short version. Okay, short version. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Short version. The long version. It happened one day. Now this is before I came to Islam, right? My father come home from his business, and he said, "Guess what? We're going to be doing business with a man from Egypt." I said, "Oh, really? That sounds cool. Egypt, pyramids, Abu Hub, Notre Dame. Man, this is great. You know, the Sphinx." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool." I can imagine our business cards, logos, things we'll come up with, export, import, talk about, oh, yeah, it's going to be, he said, "And he's a Muslim." I said, "What? A Muslim?" And I looked at him real serious. I said, "Dad," because we used to watch 700 Club. I don't know if you know what that is. Pat, Robbie, your son? Something like that. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's it. Whatever. Anyway, he said it real clear. Muslims are all terrorists, killers. Told us, hijackers, kidnappers, don't believe in God, worship a black box in the desert. All of that stuff. And I'm telling my dad, how could we be true and loyal to the 700 Club and do business with one of these Muslims? My father said, "No, he's a nice guy, you got to meet him." I said, "Okay, but it's got to be on my terms." He said, "Okay, what's your terms?" I said, "Okay, number one, I got to go to him on a Sunday." He said, "Okay, tomorrow Sunday. And I want to go to him straight from church. Not going to stop to eat." That's mini fasting, right? And then after I get done, I'm going to see this guy, right? I know what it's going to look like. Oh, and I got to have my Bible with me. I had a cross about that big I used to carry. There. And my cap, it said, "Jesus is Lord," right across the front of it. Huh? And I know what these guys look like. You know, I'm imagining what he's going to look like. He's going to have a big turban on his head. And an eyebrow that goes all the way across. He's going to be wearing a long dress. And probably going to have a sword of some kind. See that little bent sword? Kanja? A dagger. I'm looking for that. I'm imagining all this stuff. I guess I was looking for a sort of Romania or something. Anyhow. So, but when I met him, I was surprised because he didn't look anything at all like what I imagined. And in fact, I asked my dad, "Well, where is he?" He said, "Well, it's right there." That's a Muslim. And I was imagining, you know, big beard, a lot of, you know, this guy didn't have a beard at all. In fact, he didn't have any hair at all. He was bald head. But he was so nice. I liked him immediately. He had a beautiful smile. Anybody knows what's Ibtisam? Huh? Yeah? Big smile from where? From Egypt. Nobody can smile better than those guys. I'm serious. They got the smile. Forget about it. They can knock you out with a deal. You know about Abraham? By the way, he could trace his lineage all the way back to the Prophet Solomon's nephew. Yeah. So if you imagine some mile away and you're asking him, do you believe in Abraham? It's his grandfather. It's not me, but anyway, so he said, yeah, we believe, we have to believe in Abraham as a prophet. I said, yeah. Well, did you ever hear about David or Solomon or Moses? I said, yeah, of course, these are our prophets. I said, really? Yeah, but you don't believe in the precious name of Jesus. I said, yes, well, I believe in Jesus. Hold on. Miracle birth. Yeah. Immaculate conception. Yeah. Miracles. He did miracles. Yeah. Blood gave man back to life. Yeah. He ascended up to God. Yeah. He's with God. Yeah. Be back in the last day. Yeah. Man, there's hope for this guy. I can bring this guy around, you know. I just got to work on that little cross thing a bit, you know. So we started working together. We spent the next 3 months, that was back before Easter, and we stayed together until the middle of July. And all along, we traveled together all over North Texas. Everywhere we went, he's riding with me, I'm driving him, or I'm trying to debate with him about everything. And I could never win a single debate with him. Whatever I would bring up, he'd bring one proof and have it. Didn't matter what it was about faith, scriptures, whatever it was, he'd always beat me. Finally, a friend of mine, another preacher, he had a big cross that he used to carry. Sometimes he'd take that big cross, 14 foot long, and he'd drag it down the road, you know. People stopped, put him on TV. Anyway, he had a heart attack. He went to the hospital. I had to go visit him. So one day, I brought my friend, the Muslim, Muhammad, his name Muhammad, brought him in there. And afterwards, my friend told me, he said, don't ever bring him back in here. I said, why? He's a Muslim. And I tried to tell him, no, see, because, and he said, no, I don't want to hear any of that. You stay away from them, you're going to get a demon. I said, what? You're going to get a demon. And whatever you do, don't read that book. That Koran. Okay. All right, whatever. So, it happened. Muhammad would come in one day and put this book down on the counter. Great, big, beautiful looking book, you know. Dark, royal blue with gold trim on it. Came from Saudi, you know. He laid it there. I said, is that your Koran? He said, that's the Quran, yeah. Would you like to read it? I go, oh, no. It's all right. Leave it over there. He left. And when nobody was looking, you know, it's like, I flipped it over. Pages were blank. 3 or 4 pages were blank. Then I came to something that looked like the end of the book. And I looked at it and I said, they put the book backwards. You know what that's about, right? Because in Arabic, you turn the pages the other way. So I said, man, what kind of people are these that read their book backwards? So I turned it over, opened it up, and I started reading. You know, I just want to see what it said. In the name of Almighty God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Well, that sounds pretty nice. All the praise, alhamd, right there, there it is, alhamdulillah. All the praise and thanksgiving be to God, the most gracious, the most merciful, the only ruler on the day of judgment. You only do we worship, and you only do we seek help or guidance. Guide us, that's the name of our TV channel. Indeed. Guide us to the straight path. The path of those that have your favor, not the path of those that have your anger, or those who go astray or are lost. That's it. That's the first chapter. That's pretty nice. I turn the page. I leave that mean? What's that mean? Oh, I'm reading a book. Wow! Oh, step away. Whew. I almost read the book. Then I went back to visit my friend again in the hospital. He has another bunkmate there sharing the room with him. This guy's a little bit, strange. I tried to talk to him, he stared at me. I told him, well, where are you from? I asked him some questions. He said, I'm from Venus. Right? Venus, Texas. Well, Venus, Texas. He said, you wouldn't understand. I'm going, I don't want to understand this guy. I came there a couple more times, and I tried to, preach to this guy. And he just stared at me. He was in a wheelchair, so I started pushing him around, taking him places, laying him downstairs to the garden they had and stuff. Finally, one day, he started crying. And he said, you're such a nice guy, and I've been really bad to you, and I'm sorry. He said, you just don't know what I've been through. I had a heart attack, and I've been suffering a lot here. And I don't know why I'm having these problems. He said, I want to confess something to you. I said, whoa. Hey, I'm not a priest. I'm not a Catholic, okay? You don't confess to me. He said, I know you're not, because I am. I said, what? It was a Catholic priest. So I started telling him what I was learning about Islam, because I thought maybe this is, it can help me figure out how we can get this Muslim to Christianity. Protestant and Catholic together. Hey, look at this guy. But he told me that Catholic priests have to study Islam. We already know about it. I said, what? I said, yes. He said, everything you said is true. I said, what? He said, yeah, they pray 5 times a day. They fast Ramadan. He started whipping it down. I'm like, whoa. That surprised me. How come I never heard about this before? Then, when he got out of the hospital, I invited him to come out to our home, stay with us for a while. While he was convalescing, he could help me kind of give some Christian dawah to the Muslim, yeah? So he came with me. Now, the Muslim is living with us. My father's there. It's his house, his wife. Me, my wife, my daughter, all of us there in the same great big old house. Give you an idea about that. So when we got out there, we got the priest out there. I said, now we're going to start the first night right off the bat. Let's talk about the Bible. So I pulled out my Bible. About that time, my dad pulled down his Bible. Now my dad's Bible is KJV, King James Version. But I got the Revised Standard Version, which has a lot of better manuscripts that are relied on, more accurate, and explains some of the mistakes in the KJV. So right away, we're in an argument over that, me and Dad, right? Then my wife pulls out her Bible by Jimmy Swaggart called The Good News for Modern Man. And that's totally relaxed. Very relaxed translation. And now we're into that. Now, here comes, now wait a minute, up to now we're just dealing with Bible's versions, but all with 66 books. The Catholic Bible has 73 books. It's a good thing we didn't have anybody who's Orthodox. Their book has got 78. But anyway, we're into it now. Blah, blah, blah. And this book, no, mine and yours and that. And all the time, here's Muhammad is sitting over there. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going the wrong way. Stop, halt. I said, let me turn the focus away from this nonsense. By the way, Muhammad, how many of the versions of that Koran you guys got? One. And it's only the Quran and the Arabic. And every single on the planet, all of these books are identical. There's not a single dot that is different. Not a kesra, not a doma. Nothing different from one to the other. 100%. You're like, but, listen to this, but we don't rely on that. We don't rely on this. We rely on the spoken word because all Muslims are memorizing the Quran in Arabic. Huh? No, I think, well, How did we fall into this trap? Hold on. You're telling me over 1 billion people, well then it was about 1.5 billion, but we're now 1.7 billion. You're telling me that all of them are reading Arabic? He said, yeah, and most of them are not Arabs. 88%, by the way, are not Arabs. How many in this room are Arabs? Arabs. Okay. Now put your hands down. Now Muslims, non-Arab, put your hands down. Now put your hand down if you don't want to memorize the Quran. Make you think. Make you think. Want to make it easier for you? How many in this room would love to memorize the whole Quran? All of us. Gotcha, no. Don't ever not do it. When he said that, I was thinking, oh, wait a minute. He said, and all of us, we know it's been passed down by memory from mouth to ear, mouth to ear, mouth to ear, never passing mistakes, always going back and verifying. I said, man, why did I come up with this deal? Let me try something else. So forget that. The next day, I went over to my friend, and I was telling him, the one that carries the big cross, and I was telling him what had happened. He said, I told you to stay away from them monsters. You're going to get a demon, son. So I got another idea. Next night, let's try it different. Got a new idea. So, the best way to introduce Christianity, let's talk about God. And he said, oh, that'd be wonderful. I like that. Now, I got everybody sitting around the table again. Let's talk about God. He said, you know, I've always wanted to ask a Christian this question because I don't know. I said, ask me anything, son. He said, how, and you guys believe that there's one God, right? I said, of course, one God. He said, well, how do you explain Trinity? Do you have another question? I can see in his face he ain't going to buy the stuff that we go into because it takes a lot of, you know, and then you have to, and because in, how is 1 equal 3? Well, it's not really 1 equal 3. Okay, then it's not a Trinity. Because Trinity, T-R-I, means 3. Unit, 1, bi, 2, tri, 3. So is it 1 or 3? No, it's like 1 in 3, or like 3 and that. Well, how do you explain it? Okay, here we go. The apple, tufa. The apple has the red on the outside. Then inside you have the part you eat. And inside of that are the seeds. But you still have 1 apple, right? Seeds, the stuff you eat, and the red, the skin, right? But it's all 1 apple. He said, do you count the seeds? Huh? Then it'd be a lot more than 3. No, you don't get that idea. What if it's a worm in there? You count the worm? No, oh, come on, man. Next day I'm back over with my friend again, right? And I'm saying, you know, he said, I told you. See? You're going to lose your faith now. Should have told him about the egg, baby. Yeah, that's a good one. Let me try that. Okay. Now, you know we're talking about the Trinity. Now, the egg has a shell, then inside is the white, and inside the yellow. Got it? Asper, right? And the skin. Got it? He said, what if it's a double yolk? The guy becomes 4. Now, instead of a triangle, you got a square. Now, I'm like, oh, no. Okay, that's not fair. That's not fair. But you're comparing God to an egg and an apple. So what I'm saying there is, it would be better not to compare God to anything. How people want to understand it, let them alone, but that is not the way to go. Decided to go on. Now here's what's happening in the meantime. Watch this. All the time I'm going around doing that, the priest, Catholic priest, He's studying Islam with this man, learning more and more about the real history of the church, the real history of Islam, and they're sharing information back and forth. He asked him, can I go to your temple? He means the mosque. And they go. One day for Dhuhr. They come back. When they come back, I take the priest aside. What did they do? Said, what do you mean? Well, like, did they slaughter animals or make bombs? What were they doing? He said, no, they lined up like monks and stood there silently. And then they bowed, prostrated. It was beautiful. And then they left. I said, okay, what kind of music did they have? He said, they didn't have any music. I said, what? How are you going to worship God with no music? I was a music minister, by the way. Just so you know what was my role, I never told you. Music minister. I'm the one who sold the organs and pianos and would go make sure it all worked properly and play the music. That was my deal. So you come to me now and you're telling me these guys don't even have any music. Wow! What are they missing? Yeah. So then, a few days later, the priest said he wanted to go back to the masjid. Only that day they didn't come back right away. I started getting worried. Maybe they had an accident. We lived out in the country. In fact, what's funny is a side issue. Guidus TV's channel is broadcasting from the same antennas that were just down the street from my house where I used to live up there. Just by coincidence. And there's another way to stick the commercial in there for Guidus TV, but true story. Anyhow, when they finally did get there, it was dark, and I saw the Muslim getting out of the car. I recognized him right away. You can see that bald head shining out there. But then there's somebody else get out the other side. This guy's got on a white dress and a pillbox cap on his head. I looked at him, I said, Pete? His name's Father Peter Jacobs. I said, Pete, did you become a Muslim? He said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I said, no way. Man, I used to be in the television business too, broadcasting. So I pulled out the cameras, tripods, set everything up. No, there's a lot to it. You can just whip out your phone and go like that. But back in 91, you couldn't do that. By the time I set it up, he fell asleep, but I wanted so bad to ask him all the questions, you know, how did a priest look over and all that. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. I went upstairs. This is my place up in the house, you know. I told my wife, I said, what do you think about that Catholic priest? Just became a Muslim in our house. What do you think? I'm trying to see what she's going to say. Because really, everything I learned about Islam made sense. Direct relationship with Allah, nothing in between, nobody to confess to, nobody to give money to. Just deal straight with your Lord. I love it. It makes sense. So I'm asking her, what do you think, Catholic priest? She said, I want to get a divorce. Stop. I said, what? What happened? Hold on a second. What are you talking about? She said, a Muslim can't be married to a Christian. I said, whoa, oh, man, you got it all wrong. I never said I wanted to be a Muslim. I'm just excited for him and the story, and no. If you think I would never be a Muslim, ever, never be a Muslim. Okay? And besides, he told us that a Christian man can't be married to a Muslim lady. But the other way around, be okay. She said, that's what I'm talking about. I want to be a Muslim, and I can see you don't want to be. Okay. Back it up. Let me try that again. Hey, good news. Seriously, I did that. I said, good news. I, too, wish to be a Muslim. I wish it was that easy. She looked right at me and she said, you're a liar. I said, no, I'm being serious. She said, you're a liar. No way. I said, no, seriously, I just was trying to see what you would say, and then I thought, because in the... She said, you're a liar. You're either lying right now, or you're lying 5 minutes ago when you said you wouldn't be honest. Either way, you're a liar now. Get out. I was halfway down the stairs, you know, and I realized, hey, she just kicked me out of my mother's house. How's that work? So I went down, I woke up the most, about 1 o'clock in the morning by now, you know. I'm waking him up, I said, "You're me, we got to talk." He's like, "Whoa, what happened?" I said, "Let's go." So we started walking down those old country roads and talking. I'm doing the talking, he's doing all the walking, and I just thought, because I don't know what I'm going to do. My head is swimming. I think about Islam, I think about my life, I think about my position, my job, my work, what I do, the people that I know, the congregation, man. You know, I traveled back then to go a lot of places, and then along the way I would stop there and give these lectures and stuff, and I'm like, oh man. Then he said to me this. By now the sun was just about to come up, you know, Fajr time. He said, you know, this is not about you in the congregation. This is not about you and the people. Not about you and your father, not about you and your wife. It's not about you and me. It's about you and your Lord. You're talking to the wrong one. You need to go talk to him and sort it out. And then he said he's going to go do his Fajr, his morning prayer. I'm thinking, no, wait a minute. I really expected more than that. I mean, you could at least put a little hammer hold on me or something. Come on, be a Muslim, you know, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, why not? That's how he left me. So I went out behind my dad's house, and I found a place back there that looked pretty good, you know. I said, I'm going to do like the Muslims do, you know, they kind of like facing that direction over there, wherever. And you know what? Get that hat off me. You know, put my head down on the ground. And with my head on the ground, the same way we make studies do. I was trying to think what I'm going to say. By the way, I'm pretty good at coming up with words. It doesn't matter what, or when, or where, or how. But on that day, there was only 2 things coming to my head. God, guided me. Didn't think anything else. Again, that's where we got the name from. Guidance. I said, guide me. When I raised up my head, it wasn't anything like, you know, fancy lights going off. It wasn't like rainbows and doves and birds. No. What it was inside of me. I could see real clear. The problem for me wasn't the outside. It was the inside. That I had to learn how to deal honestly with myself in my relationship with my Lord. And until I do that, I'm never going to get it right with anybody else. That's the real problem that people have, whether or not they want to get themselves right with Him. Because until that happens, nobody's going to be happy. And that's when I found it right. And I knew I have no option. There's not an option except denial. So, I went inside, washed, you know, in the shower, came down, went to my friend, I said, I'd like to drink this now. So now, me, an ex-Catholic priest who's now Muslim, a Muslim relative, I'm standing there and they're giving me a shahada. La ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I bear witness, there's none to worship except God alone, Allah. And I bear witness, Muhammad is His messenger. A few minutes later, here comes my wife around, and she had a scarf up on her head. She said, I'm ready to do the same thing you guys do. She introduced herself. It wasn't right away from my dad, that's a whole other story, but he also came to Islam. He passed away and came and lived with us. Beautiful stories. My daughters pulled them out of Christian school and raised them at home. Muslim school on weekends, but for the most part, they were at home. They went all the way through high school. Graduated 16 16 and 17. One of them, she's now married to one of our brothers who studied and became a bachelor in study. And you know, that one living with us across the street from one of the biggest monsters in Ohio. Imagine. And it all came about with one guy from Egypt. One guy from Egypt. The lesson for all of us is, you can't guide who you love. A lot of guys are wherever you go. The other lesson is, you do have to try to put the message out the best way you can. And be patient with people, and then let them choose. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Huwalladhi ja'ala al-Muslimin. Praise be to the one who gave us the guidance to come and remain as his servants, as Muslims. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. For any questions, see me after Juma tomorrow. Give you back your babies. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you everyone for coming. Before you go, a few announcements. The FSA, we do have our t-shirts outside for sale to support our club, so we can put on more events like this and others. Also tomorrow at the mosque, like I said, at the Islamic Center of Tucson, that's on 1st Street. We have events starting at 6 o'clock. We'll have another lecture, and then after our night prayer, we'll have another lecture as well. So we hope to see you all there, and make sure you have your questions ready for him, like you said, after Jummah prayer, which is finishes at 1:15. We start at 12:15. Thank you all for coming once again. Have a wonderful night, and I'd like to say a few words.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have one more announcement. Yusuf Estes. I'm here with Yusuf Estes, and of course, you know, he kept on talking about Guidance TV. There's a few bumper stickers here, inshallah ta'ala, for those of you who would like to come and get some. They say worship the creator, not creation, www.guideus.tv, and that is Sheikh Yusuf Estes' website. And if anybody would like to support or anything like that, you can always fill out the pledge forms, inshallah ta'ala, we have them here. But feel free to come and get some bumper stickers. I'll be here for the next 5 minutes, inshallah ta'ala.